Welcome, Jen Hauser, to the Shits and Giggles. It is good
Hello.
to finally get to talk with you and to see
Yeah.
you face to face because I don't know, we've known each other for what?
Oh, a hot minute now.
Yeah, for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah, for a few years.
Mhm.
But we haven't actually seen and talked like this.
That's right. So, what have you been up to?
What haven't I been up to? Um, I've been writing, I've been publishing, I've been designing, I've been talking with web app developers. I've been trying to do everything,
I
but
hear
all
you.
things booked, pretty much.
Mhm. So, I thought you did last Friday a big
hmm
informational
Yes.
little exciting thing. Let's hear that first.
So this is for indie authors, right? That's our target
Mhm.
audience. I'm the owner of Painted Wings Publishing, and aside from publishing my own books, I help other authors make their books beautiful. So the main thing that we're known for is I've, I lined up like tons of different examples around, so I have to grab the right one. Here's an example, right? Is the printed edges that you can do on print on demand, which is so much more accessible for indie authors than digitally sprayed edges. And I'm going to apologize for my cat interrupting because she does not like me being on meetings, and it's probably going to be disruptive. But I came up with the technique to do these printed edges and to make more affordable options. We've started making some non-exclusive pre-made edges. So a whole bunch of like hearts and flowers. There's a sports section, a bunch of colors and ombres, some skulls, a little pirate action if you're a fantasy author with pirates, a whole slew of different things, and we're continuing to work on more. So they're at a much more affordable price that indie authors can grab it, make their book extra special, or make a special edition like for Kickstarter. So that's what we've been working on so much. My wrist, I couldn't use it properly for a couple of days from so much work on the computer. So I hope people enjoy it.
I can't believe, I mean, you were the first person to do those fancy edges. And then
hmm
there's a few people that jumped on the bandwagon, but it was sprayed or it wasn't, it didn't
hmm
have the quality that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I have examples here. There's different techniques for what you can do to book edges, and ours is uniquely helpful for layering to make it like over the top extra special, but also just 10 times more accessible to indie authors. And yeah, I've had competitors pop up. If there's anyone else out there, they exist, their company exists just by copying everything I do. So I have to be more careful about the techniques that I'm still currently developing because I know the moment I put them out there, people will copy them. And that's part of why I am in talks with app developers, going to pay a pretty hefty price to try to build our own custom things. So I'm not having to use so many different programs, having to manually do it so people can get lower prices, even lower prices and faster turnaround for our edges because it is a high demand thing. And we want to be able to offer it to others. And I love creating them.
How
But
long does it
you did mention the sprayed edges. I
go ahead?
figure, do you know the difference between the four different kinds of edges that are out there?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I have these examples, right? This is what we do. And you can tell by the fact, oh goodness, angles, that when you open it, there's these little dashes. So those are printed edges, or forced edges, as some people call them. This is painted, literally just acrylic paint. This is digitally sprayed. At least that's what I call them. The thing is, it can be confusing. People use different terms. But this is like 48-hour books, or Book Vault does them. But it's not the kind of thing that you can do print on demand with distribution. You have to buy them, have them in inventory, um, ship them yourself, that kind of thing. And this last one is gilded, so metallic covering. So those are the four different kinds. That's extremely hard to find printers to do that. Not quite as tricky. That's a DIY thing. That is the most affordable because you pay for our service once, we apply it to your manuscript, and then you can just print it at any printer you want. So, and the fun thing is, I haven't really showed a lot of people this, but you can mix the techniques. Like if you bend the pages,
I can see the words.
camera and my lighting, I'm sorry, but this says, "In vain I have struggled." So what Mr. Darcy says in his Pride and Prejudice.
That's too cool.
But you can do that under the gilding, under the painting. It's a lot trickier under here, but it's a fun option, like I said, to make it that extra.
How long does it take you to is it format or fix
Mhm.
to do the edges?
So if we're not talking, a pre-made design for looking at a custom commission, uh, It depends on a few factors. We are disability owned and operated, and it depends on if it's our slow or busy season. We quote 7 to 14 days from the
Mhm.
time we have a deposit, an agreed upon project in mind. You know, we've designed it. Usually we're much faster than that in delivery, but we give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room so that if, you know, we make sure we do a QA on every single document before we send it out, make sure nothing was missed. Give us a little extra time in case something was missed and we have to reprocess it.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
too cool. What else do you do? I know you do the fancy edges, and
Mm-hmm.
I know you do your
Yeah.
own books. You're an
Yes, I do my own books. So my pen name is Jay Hauser. I have 5 books plus the coloring book plus the bonus book, and then these are the special edition omnibuses with they're backwards with continuous design. There you go. They meet up across the edges.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's about plant people. Fun, magic, family, whether it's found or real. Lots of betrayal, spies. I'm thinking you've read this, right?
Yes,
I
and
can't
I
remember
have
which of my books you read now.
many copies of them.
I love that. Cedar Wars is just, I love it. I do plan to write more books. It's just, I have so much going on that it has been sitting on the shelf, but it is at a natural breaking point with like the spin-offs. And then I have my Magic and the Match series. I had a third book come out, which I absolutely adore. I just haven't gotten the print copy yet. But these are like fairy tale retellings, fairy tale inspired, different kinds of representation. And then I recently put out here, I'll show you one of them. The Pride and Prejudice special edition. So, I mean, this is Jane Austen's, but I did commission artwork. So we had it illustrated, made all the special touches, obviously. So it's extra pretty. Oh, there we go. There's Jane and Elizabeth. But I did all sorts of bonus content in the back based on the book. Designed like playing cards and included the directions on how to play whist, which is a game they mention in there, which nobody really plays nowadays. And I will be doing more in the Jane Austen series. And I did write like a bonus chapter in the back, kind of an extra epilogue of how I think it would go. Just
Mhm.
that little bit extra that we all love about a year later after the double wedding. What are things looking like? So as an author, that's what I'm up to. And then other than the page edges, I do have a lot of other things. I have ADHD. I like to do a lot of things. So I just put out a whole bunch of different covers for my planner, the Plotter's Planner, which is a little ironic because I think a lot of authors, maybe the majority, don't consider themselves plotters. They're more pantsers.
Mhm.
And that's kind of more my territory, but especially when it comes to series, I need to be able to track how long did this journey take? Because these side characters that I'm not going to tell their story, I need to know how long they have to do their thing. And how old was this person at this time this happened? You know, just trying to keep stuff straight. So I made a planner and it's got some questions at the beginning to kind of make sure your world building is super rich. Basically, that was something I designed for myself because if I'm going to design it for myself, I'm going to let other authors get in on it too. But I live and die by keeping track of my stuff there.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess one last thing I'll say that I've been working on is special formatting graphics packs. Whoa. We have a wonky setup today. Not going to lie. I have a tripod, but it's boxed in with boxes of books. I need to send out. But all sorts of like vibrant, beautiful backgrounds that people can use for their formatting. Oh, my favorites. I want to show you the favorites. Where do they go? And the tricky thing about these is it's actually very difficult to find something that prints well because it can look pretty on a screen,
Yeah.
but it does not transition well to the printer. And that's why I've done several reprints of these. And even if it prints well at the printer, you want to make sure it doesn't compete with the lettering. So you have to have the right amount of contrast and everything. That's some flowers. So that's what I've been up to.
That's a lot.
Make books pretty and make books fun. It's I eat, breathe, and sleep this. But I don't know. What questions do you have for me? I'm talking a lot and I don't know what
No,
to say.
that's perfect. A little bit about what I'm gonna do is
Mhm.
I'm looking to do a small website or on my
Mhm.
website page, and it'll be one shot shop. I can't even talk today. For indie authors to come and find reputable help. And
Hmm.
you were the first one I thought of because I just love the edges. But it'll hopefully small, but editors, publishers, illustrators,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And that way they are not getting scammed, you know.
Yeah. And if you need any suggestions or need to run anyone by me, let me know. There are a lot. The more I'm in this industry, the more I realize that there are just vipers out there everywhere. And even very big names that I would expose if I had better connections, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to know. I hired a proofreader recently who disappointed me. So now I'm looking for a new proofreader. And it'd be nice if there was a place where you weren't just hoping and praying that you were getting something good.
Yeah,
So that kind of resource is definitely needed for self-publishing authors.
definitely. And, I'm on Facebook in my group, and, some of the authors are like, man, these people just keep bugging me, or, you know, they say they're going to do something for me and then they don't, or I gave this person money and they still haven't, done anything, or I gave them my story and it's published, but they never gave me the royalties or the commission or whatever it is.
I have absolutely never paid or worked with someone that solicited me.
Hmm.
I don't trust those at all. I mean, half the time nowadays they're just AI,
Hmm.
but I just assume off the bat that they're scams.
Yeah.
And it's also tricky getting recommendations from just anybody because another author, like, they might be really horrible at grammar and not realize how bad their editor didn't catch things. You know,
Hmm.
we might have different preferences and levels of what we care about. Um, but yeah, I don't even read or answer those kind of solicitations. I go to different forums and ask, and then do my own research. The only two times really I've collaborated with folks who reached out to me is when the Vellum company, the owners of Vellum, the formatting software, reached out to me, and then Ingram Spark, right, the world's biggest book distributor, Ingram, their indie publishing branch, when they reached out to me to collaborate about my edges. And even then, I was like Googling them, making sure these are legitimate emails, that these are legitimate people before I agreed or got into anything. So you really have to be careful. So many people are out there just to steal your money.
And it's a shame. It really is a
Hmm.
shame. And
Yep.
I'm out there and I'm like, someone will probably TikTok is the bad one. Hey, I noticed that you're an author. I'm an author too. And it'll be like somebody like huge, I can't even think of anybody. Laurel K. Hamilton or somebody
Hmm.
like that. And they'll say, well, I like to get to know how your journey and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, right. You know?
I assume that if an author or even a reader is reaching out to me,
Hmm.
that they're doing so with intent, and they will be forthcoming with that very quickly. They're not going to be like, "Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I was curious to know more about your reading process or
Hmm.
about your writing process. I'd
Hmm.
love to know where you get the inspiration from your book. Like, give me details. If you say you love my book, I want to know exactly what you love about my book and something that AI always gets wrong.
Hmm.
Let's hear some authenticity. Otherwise, hey, how are you doing? You don't care how I'm doing. You're
Hmm.
messaging me for purpose. And if you're not saying that purpose, you're probably trying to get money from me.
Yep.
So I feel like that might sound really hardened, but it's just the truth. I'm not up for them wasting my time.
Hmm. And you've
Yeah.
been around the block, you know.
Yeah.
Um, can we talk about uh AI for a minute
Sure.
and them AI doing books, or didn't like Amazon or somebody take a whole bunch of books to teach their AI?
So I am staunchly against AI in creative spaces, partially because my Cedar Wars series, 4 of those books were stolen and used by Anthropic. And because I foolishly followed what a lot of indie authors follow is the advice that, oh, you don't have to actually register your copyright. So I didn't get anything in their huge settlement. But my books were stolen. And, they would turn around and charge me to use that AI of my own stolen property. It's just insult to injury. But it's built on the backs of poisonous fruit. And I know that's a really horrible amalgamation of sayings.
No.
um, I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it'll ever give us the kind of quality that connects the same way. Yeah, I think people will make a lot of money off of it. I'm sure it will continue to improve. But at the same time, AI can't spell strawberry correctly. Amazon Amazon has a ask the author or ask the book feature, right? And authors who try it on their own books are constantly finding out that it's giving people wrong information.
Hmm.
If you do a basic Google search about me and my books, if you listen to AI, it's telling you books I never wrote are authored by me, and they're showing wrong covers that don't belong to my books. And it's like it's not that hard.
Hmm.
It's not that hard to get that information right. So it's embarrassing that people are so for it. Um, there's the ethics of that it's stolen. There's the ethics that it takes away jobs. There's the environmental fight. Like there's so many things that I just can't condone it. Um, I do get customers because of AI. People tell us um, how they found us when they come to order page edges, and some people will say AI sent me your way, and I'm like, well, I guess there's a one decent part. I need the business, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in general, I don't love it. I do hate to say that I often like AI art, and I'm not as expert as a lot of people at picking it out. But if I expect people to not steal my things, then I have to stand in solidarity with artists.
Hmm.
And it is hard to find an artist in styles I like, and then to be able to afford it and make sure the timing is right for any books that I want to do. But it's an ethical thing for me. So that's what I do.
Hmm.
So that's where I stand with that. What are your thoughts?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
The only instance that I could really say AI is good is for translation on like 911 calls.
Mm-hmm.
When a foreign person calls 911 and they speak a different language, or in the hospital, it
Mm-hmm.
used to be, okay, we have to get a interpreter, and now it does that a little. I mean, not a lot, but I
Yeah.
that's the only thing I see that is
I
actually worth it.
Yeah, I do think that there are places for AI. I just think that it's being pushed so heavily on us and used in ways that are not ethical. I think when I go onto Amazon and I'm looking at a product and I'm looking at the reviews, I love when it has a little AI summary because
Hmm.
it's literally just taking, 100 people's opinions that they wrote and giving me a summary. That's great. I don't think that's infringing upon people's rights or their ability to keep a roof over their head. It's
Hmm.
not really doing harm, or like you said, a translation inscription sort of thing for medical, as long as it's decent, that it can be accurate, which I question sometimes.
Oh yeah.
That's a good thing, but it, I don't think we've got a lot of ethical AI
Mm-mm.
programmers out there right now. So
Can you?
it's a crazy time right now.
It is. It's scary, actually. To me, it is. Can you talk about how to copyright your book? What goes into that to copyright a book, if you don't mind?
Mhm. Well, there's an easy way, and then there's a hard and expensive way. And so far, most of my books have been the hard and expensive way.
Crap.
Um, well, because I listened to the advice of like, oh, you don't need to file a copyright. You automatically have the copyright. But it's very, here in the US, it's very pay to play as a victim. Like you should have known years ago that you would be victimized to be able to get any sort of decent outcome out of it. Um, because even when the Anthropic uh, settlement came out and they were deciding who deserved money, you couldn't file your copyright right then. You had to file it within like a very short time frame after your book was published. You had to have known at that time. And my thought was, well, I don't sell that many copies. I'm not a big name, someday, hopefully, but that's not realistic right now. And I'm not going to be able to afford a lawyer to be able to sue someone, but I didn't think about a class action suit. And so now I definitely think it's important, especially with this AI and the unethical training that goes into it. I'm going to safeguard myself. So the easiest way and the most affordable way is you go on the US copyright site. Of course, this is just US authors, it's different for everyone. Before your book is published, you can send them an ebook copy, right? It's free to send an ebook. And the filing fee, I believe, is a little lower. And then you're good. The reason you do it before publication is because you have to send the best copy. And I had some misunderstandings with mine, so I spent a lot filing the copyrights for all of my backdated books. But once they're published, especially in print, you have to send 2 copies of your best. So that means you're now paying for shipping 2 hardback books. It's a hardbacks. If there's a special edition, if there's color printing that costs more, guess what? They want that. You have to send 2 copies of every single book, pay for the shipping to go to the US Copyright Office. I believe, I don't remember the fees, it might be a little bit more, it might not be, but it is obviously a lot more expensive and a hassle to do that. It's just best to do the ebook copy and be done with it, just as your to-do list before publication.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a confusing site, but it's not nearly as bad if you just do it beforehand.
Well, anything to
Because
keep.
you're working on publishing, right? Yourself.
Yeah, I did do. Will
How many?
under
I
my
don't
name
remember.
or
Yeah.
under all my names, 20
Well, it
some.
depends what you want to share. 20 some?
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many under your name?
Oh, 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to read. I'll be honest. Not only time, but also, I don't know, are you this way? Once I became an author, I found it destroys reading so much. For me, I get into author brain. Every single sentence, I'm like, that sentence isn't wrong, but I think my editor would have tweaked it this way. Like I can't shut off that part of my brain, and it
Yes,
makes it so much less fun.
it does. Oh my gosh, like I'll be reading and that's good. And then I'll beta read for somebody. And when I'm done with that, I'll go back to reading and I can't switch off the beta reading mode. And then I start picking apart the next book and I'm like, that's not right. It's supposed to be enjoyment.
It's
Jeez.
hard. That's definitely a proper warning to readers who want to step over into writer territory. Like that may happen to you. So
Yeah,
ask yourself how passionate you are.
definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of what I'm trying to do is, get authors out there, little indie authors out there so that people know that they're having, this book or that book and everything. And it's just a drop in a bucket anymore. There are so many out there.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. I think I mean you're talking about just there being so many indie authors
Hmm.
and books. I mean, you've got the AI slop that's flooding the market, so you have to try to avoid that. But also, 2020 COVID lockdowns, I'm stereotypical, unfortunately, in that I was with a lot of other people. It was like, hey, I don't have a job right now. I work for the airline industry. Who was flying anywhere? No one.
Hmm.
So I was on a leave of absence and I was like, I had that dream several years ago that I wrote down that I'm going to try writing a book. And then I was like, I'm addicted.
Yeah.
What the heck? I love this.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people got into that. I do think some of it's dying down. A lot of authors that I've seen, like on TikTok, when I first joined, I don't see them as much. And I think, they just weren't as committed or just life happens. I mean, you could say I'm not as committed because I used to put out like 4 or 5 books a year. And now I'm like, oh, trying to scrape by while I'm working on helping other authors do their thing. But I'm definitely going to keep going. But there's a lot of us. It's become more accessible. And I think that's the way it's going to be. And
Hmm.
you can't deny that
Hmm.
indie publishing is changing the face of traditional publishing.
Yes.
Traditional publishing is absolutely becoming lazier in the
Hmm.
way that they acquire titles. They're going for indie authors because why would they take a risk on a brand new author when they can find an indie author who has sold a bunch of books, who has a built-in audience and say, we're going to back that horse that has already won the race.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing, right? They're just hunting talent from our pool now. So it's an interesting time to be alive and in this industry.
Yes, definitely. I know though a lot of the indie authors or authors that I say um, are backing off of doing in-person events.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? I don't think you do in-person events, do you?
I did when I did my debut, uh, and I do want to do some in the future, but it is very hard for me, not only because of like my health issues and my time taking care of my author services business, but there's a lot of effort and risk. I mean, there's so many balls and events that have been just absolutely scandalous, right? From horrendous political statements to just stealing from authors and attendees. So you have to find one, again, kind of like you're trying to set up with your site of reputable places authors can go. You have to be able to find one, afford the driving or the flying, all the books. I just think books are heavy.
Hmm.
I like not having to ship books. I do sell like signed copies and that, but when I get a sale, I'm like, oh, now I have to get boxes and tape out. And that's not even like hefting the boxes into a ballroom or whatever. So and all that effort and all that time and all that money, and you might sell 5 books,
Exactly.
it's
Yep.
so hit or miss from what I hear of these events.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a lot for what may not turn out well for you.
Yeah, I think the money is better served elsewhere that you would spend on a,
Hmm.
in-person event, like festivals or cons or stuff like that. Better
Have
try.
you done any?
I've done a few. Yeah.
Hmm.
My, I don't do well
Not
with
really great.
people. I get really nervous and don't want to, talk about it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm really awkward about my books. I'm just like, so it's really good.
Hmm. Hmm.
People like it, I swear, but I'm not good at like bragging about my stuff or
Yeah.
being super succinct. It's literal torture, even just writing the blurb on the back, because how am I supposed to summarize that in like less than 200 words?
Hmm.
It's a good
Yeah.
time. That's really going to sell your book. I'm not good at that stuff. I get that. But there is like a local store that does events that I'm like, maybe I'll throw my hat in the ring someday for something
Yeah.
local. I do think it would be fun. I really, really want to combine my ADHD hobbies and interests. For example, like with the Pride and Prejudice. Okay, I'm gonna try to grab something without knocking everything over. Here's an example, right, of a rose. So
Beautiful.
this is Pride and Prejudice on here.
Hmm.
I created little books. I'm gonna grab them over because I didn't think I was gonna show them off. The pattern is embedded on the pages, so you can actually read the book, and then you have all the lines to trace and cut and illustrated instructions that I made to assemble them.
That's
I think if I ever got married again, I would totally do these for my bouquet. Not even gonna lie. I
awesome.
mean, not necessarily black ones. They come in all
Yeah.
sorts of different colors.
Yeah.
Uh, but I would love to have like a book craft day,
Hmm.
where we have a station where you can make book flowers. At another station, for my debut novel, what I did, well, one of the things I did, we had a paint night. You know, people have like paint sit, but we could have like bookish paint
Hmm.
stations where people can go and they're like, oh yeah, I want the dragon flying out of the book, and we hire someone who does little sessions and just different bookish things that are activities. Because I mean, a ball sounds fun, but I really love crafts and just
Yeah.
hands on pretty book stuff.
I agree. I mean, that would be something to, do a pot or a YouTube video of a bunch of people in their homes making these flowers. I could see that. I
Hmm.
would love to do it. Of course, I'd hold everybody up because I'm not very crafty.
Yeah. I don't think it takes too much effort, but I don't know. Everyone has different levels of craftiness. But I don't know. I think something just a fun activity like that. I'd be willing to try to organize with professional help someday, but I'm not going to do it until I can guarantee that I'm not going to let people down. And yeah, so in-person events are fun. Authors could also have their books there to incorporate there. People can get to know new authors while they're just having general bookish fun.
Definitely. I know
Hmm.
this local bookstore from, I don't know, half an hour or so. She has
Hmm.
an old bookstore, like old antique furniture and stuff, and she does little things, not only book clubs, but like paint nights and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I think every town should have that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I need to get out in my area and go to bookstore. I need to leave my house more often, but I'm always stuck at my computer
Me too.
or on my phone or tablet reading something.
So, any pointers that you can give for indie authors, what they should or shouldn't do, or what worked for you, what didn't work for you?
Hmm. At any particular stage of the process, there's a lot of stages and a lot of hats, right?
I know, yeah.
Gosh, I need to compile my advice somewhere. I've got a little bit here and there. I could tell you I've extensively researched different printers, so I can tell you like KDP is the worst quality of them all, but also the most accessible in a lot of ways. Ingram Spark, I think, is the best distribution, better quality. Drafted Digital, I use for all my ebooks, but I would not touch their print. Um, Barnes and Noble Press, you would think is awesome, but their policies and their quality is horrific. And they just use Ingram Spark anyway, so might as well just go with Ingram Spark.
Hmm.
So, I could tell you so many things about the printers and very annoyingly intricate levels. If you're looking for where to get special editions done, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, write what you love. Do your research when looking for professionals. Like an artist, if you're commissioning artwork, they should be able to show you the steps that they go through. The artists that I've worked with, they'll send me a sketch. And if I say, like, okay, let's tweak this and tweak that, like you can see the lines of where they erase things and you can see that they're actually changing, that it's not just an AI generated video picture of, the final step of the process.
Hmm.
And with editors and proofreaders, you should absolutely be able to get a sample edit, which means, you'll send them like a chapter of your book. They'll edit it and send it back to you. So you can see the quality level that they do. That should not cost you anything. That's just something that any reputable editor does. And it's important, I say, get at least half a dozen different samples so you can compare and decide, because those price ranges can be vastly different I'm struggling with that right now because I had an editor who was really reasonably priced, who was so good. But because of her health, she couldn't keep doing it. So then I'm back on the hunt for editors. I'm so picky. I want it done really well, but also to be able to afford to, eat and feed my cat. But it's tricky. But yeah, definitely find, like, do your research is a huge thing. Do your research. Don't rush into it. Every time I've seen someone rush into something, there have been big scandals and smaller ones that I've seen all over TikTok. People who really, really rocket the marketing game and sell tons of books, but then everyone hates them because it was not done well. I see that a lot. I cannot give you any marketing advice. I am abysmal. My books are good. Go read them. I'm not good at marketing. So I don't get those sales and then disappoint people with the quality. I get really good quality, but no one to read them because I don't know how to get the sale. So I need the marketing advice from a reputable source. But yeah, just take your time, do all the steps, do your research. And also everyone has different levels. Some people really just do this as a hobby and they're not necessarily as serious about it. But if you do want to make an actual career, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort, and things like learning to format yourself. There's a lot. I don't know where to start with all that. But research, and ask opinions, and find out who you can trust, where to get your information from.
But usually when I have a question, I go onto TikTok and ask you because I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely get questions, and that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to help. And there's a lot that when I play edges to people's books, right? It's a very last step because they've already had the cover designers, they've already had it formatted, they've already had it edited. I'm just putting on that final little decorative detail. But I get manuscripts to me in a lot of variety, very blatant spelling errors, horrific formatting. Formatters who don't even know what a gutter margin is. And if you don't know what a gutter margin is, you are not a professional book formatter. Mm-hmm. And trying to explain this to the authors I'm working with, like, oh, honey, they charged you $1,000 for that. Oh, it's not worth $10. Like, that breaks my heart. And I'm willing to try to guide them in the right step. If I decided the other day, I wouldn't want to clone myself, but I would want a time turner like Hermione has. Because if I clone myself, then I would only get to do like half of the fun stuff, right? My clone would enjoy the rest of it. I would like to be able to do all of it, but I would be out there compiling all sorts of extra resources and finding out how to do things and who to trust to point people in the right direction. But sadly, I only have the time given to me. If you get a lead on a time turner, let me know.
Yeah, I think we all need one.
So you said you're setting up, or you already have set up your website with like recommendations. How is that going? What's that going to look like?
Well, I started putting it on my website because I can't seem to find a cheaper website. Right now I'm sending out Google Docs, and I think I have like 18 authors that signed up for it and filled out the form because I extensively do nosy questions like what if they would talk, what do they do, like, what can they teach or stuff like that. And then it went from there to more forms for the editors and big lengthy questions. And then I'm going to put it somehow onto a website that people can go to and click and, oh, this is an editor's, click, this is, beta readers, this is, illustrators, whatever. So that, I don't know, that's as far as I go. I want it to be easy, but it's so hard.
It is hard. I myself, like, from the moment I started Painted Wings Publishing for authors to help them with their books, I wanted to build a community. And I also want to build a reader community. And I have to be honest that some of that growth is slow. Like, we have an author newsletter, a reader newsletter. There's not a lot of people subscribe to it. And it's actually very time intensive to do the newsletters that I want to do to show them like the cool books that we've been working on. And so trying to find that balance of like what keeps the lights on versus how we can help the community, especially when you don't have an automatic community. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've been really toying with the idea, especially because I need to find a new illustrator myself. I had one that I absolutely loved ghost me. And I'm really picky with art, but I do also want to have some sort of format where people can come to our website and go to a list and very easily find like pictures of the styles and the prices and availability and how long it takes. But I mean, that is very hard to organize all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only do you have to weed out the AI if you don't want AI recommendations, but artists, these freelancer artists don't always work on regular schedules or pricing, or it can be
Yep.
complicated.
Yeah.
So complicated. So if you get that up, let me know, because I need artists.
I have a few. So yes, definitely.
Okay.
I do put out a like piece on Facebook. I guess I'm going to have to go farther and do it on all the social media, and
Mm,
to get more varied editors, people to help.
mhm.
But like you said, it's rough.
It's hard. Yeah, and I get the whole like, I guess I might have to change social media. I used to be so into the YouTube, the booktube community, and on Facebook.
Hmm.
But I mean, TikTok is addictive, and that's kind of become my main community.
Yeah.
Um, but I know I would do better if I branched out, right? Because we all kind of have our little home bases.
I always say that
Mm,
you pick one social media that you're really good on, that you're,
mhm,
and you work on that one. Yeah, you can, filter the other ones, but definitely pick one that you want to work on and then just keep it up.
mhm,
Like I did TikTok and then I backed off because, they're going to take it away
mm,
after what, 2 years. Now they're finally allowing it to be in the United States. So
yeah, yeah. Um, I like their in-app editor. I find it the easiest. I
mhm.
used to, like I said, I used to do YouTube even before I was in publishing. I was huge. I had multiple YouTube channels for, crafts and cooking and family life and just all sorts of things. But it's just so much extra effort to like film and edit and voiceover and all these things when TikTok makes it easier,
Yeah.
which I hate because they're like evil. And I don't know, they're all evil. I mean, Anthropic that stole my books to train their AI is owned by Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram. I mean, they're all evil.
Yeah, they're all in on
Ugh,
it.
yeah, but you go with what works for you. Find your community, right?
Yeah.
And then try to cross post. That's what I'm trying to do better at. And my assistant reminds me when she's like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out marketing because you say you suck at it. I'm like, I do. I definitely do. Uh, she's like, well, you could be posting more like on Instagram and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a whole extra step of like posting it to TikTok. And then I have to go to a whole nother app and repost it. I don't know why that seems like so much energy,
Hmm.
but it's a smart thing to do
It
that
is
I should do more. Like today's video, I posted one today and I should have posted it immediately
to all the other
to
ones.
Facebook and
Hmm.
yeah, that's a tip. Don't be me when it comes to marketing.
Or me. I don't even look. I mean, I don't even look to see reviews or anything anymore. And somebody will say, "Hey, you got a review?" And I'll be like, "Oh, okay." I'm
I
scared.
I I pay my assistant once a month to go on there, and
Hmm.
we have like a summary sheet because it might be useful, whether it's a good or bad, because
Hmm.
sometimes those bad reviews can be a good advertisement in and of itself. Uh, I have her summarize it in a dispassionate way because I struggle with RSD, rejection sensitive disorder. For I can take reviews very personally and it like sends me mentally spiraling. I would
Hmm.
never be one of those scandalous authors who like lashes out at people, but I will question my will to live and write another book because of, a 4-star review where they actually liked it, but they just said one thing that I kind of took wrong. So I don't read them anymore. I used to, but I'm not willing to spoil my entire day or week because of that. I let my assistant read them, dispassionately summarize. So if I want to see, you know, if any changes need to be made, if they're like pointing out that there were big errors that I need to fix or where the series might go. Not that I really make those decisions based on reviews, but and for marketing.
Hmm.
But yeah, don't read your own reviews unless you have like super thick skin and keep it to yourself.
Yeah. No, imposter syndrome hits me really, really hard. So,
Yeah, I will never forget reading one. That's just not under this pen name, but
mm-mm.
people can be brutal. But people can also tell you that you made their day, that you changed their perspective, that they sobbed when they didn't expect to, that they fell in love with the characters, that they came to life, that they wish they could literally dive into the world that you created. So there are beautiful things. You just have to
Mhm.
be able to to distance yourself. That's why I say, those kind of raving reviews not only give me motivation to keep going on my author journey, but they are really great for marketing. So that's why I pay someone else to look at them for me.
I usually get the one that, because I do the reviews, and they'll message me later and they'll say, "You really got my book. You really understand it. You really
Mm.
got what I was trying to say." And I'm like, okay, yeah, yippee. I'm glad. Because,
Honestly, I would say to readers that your reviews matter more to the author in the fact that it helps promote your books to other readers, helps support you financially because it like helps with your rankings and stuff. But if you want to give them an emotional boost, especially because a lot of authors do not read their reviews, doesn't hurt to send them a message. Those make my day. I love when I release a new book and I get messages, usually on Instagram, which is funny because I'm not a big Instagram girly, but I get messages that are just like, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad you published this. I was so hoping for another book in a series." Or like,
oh,
"Oh my gosh, I love this couple. Please tell me there's going to be another." Things like that.
mhm.
I eat that up and that just makes my entire day, makes me open up an old manuscript and say, "Somebody's waiting for this. Someone wants this." So definitely drop them a line as well as leaving a review and telling all your friends to check it out and, suggesting it for book club,
In the
all the things.
library and yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I make sure people can get my books from the library. Um, yeah. I think that's an important route for people to be able to go.
I think like it would be fun if authors would do a little book club
Hmm.
of their books.
Like of each other's books.
Like your books say, and then there'd be people, a couple people, and you go through chapter one, and then we discuss it, or you go through half the book, whatever it is, and then if you have questions, because sometimes I have questions, I don't understand things, then they can come back to you and say, "Hey, what is this?" At book
Hmm.
club is all I mean. I know it's weird.
I don't know. That'd be fun. I've thought before about like, how can I make book club like packages or experiences?
Hmm.
Oh, I was so sad. When I was new to publishing with my very first book, someone was like, "Oh, I'm going to recommend your book to my book club. We're going to read it together." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I love that." And she
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, I realize you don't have an audiobook, so we're not going to read it." Which breaks my heart because I want to be able to do audiobooks and I want, for the accessibility and just some people prefer them, but people do not understand how prohibitively expensive audiobooks can be, especially when you get complicated with things like duet or dual, just all that.
Hmm.
Just a simple one is so much. And again, finding the right narrator for you, if that matters, it's a lot. So I have not published any audiobooks yet because I also hear that they can be extremely hard to earn back all that you put into it. So that's why most indie authors don't have audiobooks. And it's so hard because then you get serious situations like that where I just lost out on several new readers who could have been, future sales and just future readers who would have loved my book.
My counter, or my Jack, who is usually on here, he
Mm-hmm.
does audiobooks. He has some things wrong with his eyes, and he
Mm-hmm.
can't read, but he listens to audiobooks. And he had this one, and it was just like noises, um,
Mm-hmm.
different voices, background, explosions, just everything. And I'm like, holy mackerel, that must have cost so much money.
I think those are called like graphic audio ones or something, right? Where they put in all the special touches. And I actually don't like those. I'm like, that's weird. Why am I hearing like I've heard in some books they're like if the character belches, like the narrators will actually belch in it. I'm like, I don't think I need to hear that. I don't
No,
know.
not me. No thanks.
But yeah, some people eat that up.
Mhm.
I'm not really into it. And it can be tricky, right? Like a book series I really enjoyed when I was in a big audiobook phase. I mean, the main character was a male, like a teenage boy, but the narrator's voice when he tried to do teenage girls, oh, just outrageously offensive. It's so a hit and miss. I'm assuming you don't have any created into audiobooks yet.
No.
No, it's so pricey and
Yeah.
the exclusivity if you want to do a royalty split with the narrator. No, it's just
Yeah. Too much into it.
it's complicated enough to get out ebooks, paperbacks, and hardbacks.
Exactly.
Audiobooks is a whole another ballgame.
I do have a few narrators that are gonna be in underneath the umbrella, but uh, of course they're authors themselves and you know
Hmm.
editors or whatnot. But yeah, I don't see going down that road for me.
Yeah. I've considered narrating my own, but it requires a big setup, live in a quiet place, and
Hmm.
all the editing and stuff. I'm just like, oh, I need a lot of free time.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I did that's the lowest on the list of formats to worry about as a new author.
Yeah, get the ebook out first and the paperback or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the audio
and
way at the bottom.
yeah, yeah, and you never know. I mean, I guess maybe you do know if you're better at marketing than me, where your books are going to land. I mentioned I do have another pen name that I don't discuss much, but it's in Kindle Unlimited. It does great, and I do like zero marketing. But right now, my newest release with the I'm gonna show again, right? One of my fairy tale romances. I have not been able to do marketing, but I put it in KU. I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance. It'll be my second time giving it a chance, and I think I got like 5 page reads.
Wow.
I might have earned a penny there.
Hmm.
It just does so much better when I allow it wide distribution, so it can be put out to libraries and on Google Play Books and a variety of places, and also print copies. So you may need to experiment or find out what's best for your genre. Some naturally do better one route than another.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's lots of advice and lots of advice that I still, you're always learning.
Yeah.
I just need. I think that with my ADHD brain, there's a lot of different portions firing with the creativity and the research and the technicalities and caring about something being one pixel off and learning about all these different specialties. But there's like a portion of my brain that is the marketing portion, and it is empty. I need that.
Yeah, mine's empty too. It's starving.
Oh, I feel that. But you know what? We do what we can. We keep working. To be a self-published author, you're an entrepreneur, and to have the entrepreneurial spirit, it's a very go get 'em. I'm willing to wear all the hats, and if I'm not going to wear the hat, I'm going to wear the hat that teaches me to find the right person to take that hat for me.
Hmm.
Um, so you can teach yourself how to illustrate your own cover. You can teach yourself how to. I mean, proofreading and editing. Like you're naturally going to miss things because you've read your own book 20,000 times and you're already just like,
Hmm.
but you can teach yourself to format. You can teach yourself a lot of things, but you can also find ways to barter or save up to hire the right person.
I do know that a few people do a barter, and it's really nice.
Hmm.
If you have your community, hey, I'll be glad to if you do. So.
Yeah, well, and that was one thing I previously offered, like when I was pretty darn new, actually before I ever had a viral video about me coming up with this technique for the printed edges. I was like, are there any artists out there who would like to swap? And I had quite a few who were like, yeah, but then, like I said, I'm really picky about artwork style, so it didn't come to fruition. But I would definitely because what's their time worth? What's my time worth?
Hmm.
We're trading time and expertise. So if you can barter, as long as it's something you both want, I say go for it. I'm a fan of that.
Would you be willing to allow me to put you out there on underneath the umbrella as somebody who does the beautiful formatted edges?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and if you, I'm kind of in a tricky place right now for if you wanted to list this also for formatting.
Okay.
I've formatted quite a few books for people, but I have had on our website that I'm not taking on new projects for a while now, just because it kills my carpal tunnel syndrome. So I have to like focus on the edges. Um, and I also I made an unfortunate assumption that I could get out 3 books by the end of last year, and then my life turned upside down. So I was like rushing to find editors and finish the books and all that. So I just have not been able to do formatting. But if we do open formatting app again, my assistant keeps begging me to just teach her, but it's so complicated.
Yeah.
Formatting is a bear if you want it done well. If
Hmm.
you want to be able to do like high quality, lots of variety. So I'm like, oh, it's a lot of effort to try to train someone. But if we open it up, I'd love to have you list us there too.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah. But thanks for inviting me here. I don't know if there's. I'm just kind of randomly talking. I'm not really great at this. I haven't done a video stream or podcast or anything in a hot minute. So
I'm not really good at it. I, have questions and have a hard time talking and everything like that. So, but it was great
I
that you
think
allowed. to have this conference and to talk about your experience and what you do and your books. We can't forget about your books because you're an author.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Got the magic in the match and the Cedar Wars. I love talking about my stuff. I'm just not great at it. But I love getting to escape this world, write those stories, and then make it beautiful, as beautiful on the outside as it is on the inside. So,
That's one way of looking at it. So, um, okay, that's the end of that, I guess.
all right. So,
Uh,
so what's the name of your website if people are looking for these resources?
it's going to be under robinsreview.info, I think, so far until we
Okay.
can get somewhere else.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, it's tricky and expensive to branch out. When I first did the edges, I housed them under my author website until I realized I could afford to and needed to move it to another one. So I have jhauserwrites.com for my author stuff, and then I have Painted Wings Publishing for all my other stuff, all the page edges and design stuff. But Robin's Reviews.
Yeah.
I know I've been there before, but it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's a new site and that's all. I don't know. I'm so behind. Like I don't have all my reviews on there. I haven't done any of my blog posts. Still adding it's called Umbrella and I'm gonna start adding the forms underneath it for editor and all
Mhm.
those and so they'll be Google Docs and then they can be tracked by that
Mhm.
and all that fun stuff. But
Yeah.
I have 18 authors. I should be putting it out there more, but I'm still working on the website. So
So when you say you have 18 authors, you're talking about authors who perform other services like editing.
yeah,
Okay.
or would like all the authors, if they want to be on the podcast
Mm.
or if they want to be interviewed in a non-joking way, I guess, and what their specialty is, like their side
Mhm.
hustle other than being an author, what they can
Mhm.
talk about, how to form a street team or something like that.
Yeah. Man, I need to do that. I've kind of tried. I'm not good. I'm not good at being like, "Hey, help me hype up my book." I'm jealous of people who are good at that.
I have this one author and he's the sweetest guy and he busts his butt to get his books out there and the writing updates and cool covers and he's just like slamming the books out and I'm just like yeah, I haven't sat in front of the computer for 2 weeks. So
Oh, I
some
wish I could
people
say that.
mm,
Yeah, it's hard. Before this ed business took off, like I was 24/7, like all I did was write. That's how I was able to put out so many, and I have to like have some time to be able to get into that mindset, and then I can write for 16 hours a day.
mhm.
Um, but now I just can't do that, and because I couldn't market, like all that writing wasn't bringing in enough money. So I do need to help other people with their books, which I love, which is why I say I need a time turner so I can be like a full time author and a full time designer.
Mhm.
It's I hate having so many limited hours.
I know. Ugh.
We're doing the best we can.
That's it. That's all you can do. And
Yeah.
I was using StreetYard for the podcast, and then we had lag and everything. So I'm back to Zoom in the boring
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Zoom. It's crazy.
I'm not familiar with StreetYard, but yeah, it is more simple here. That's fine.
All right. Well, thank
I
you.
what's how many books have you read so far this year?
Read this year,
Mhm. Mhm.
20, 25. I've,
Dang.
I've slowed down a lot because of doing beta reads. Like I
Because
have
that doesn't include your beta reads?
mm-mm.
Mm.
No, the both of them have a series, and I do the book one, and then like I get a break for a couple of weeks, and then out comes book two. So yeah.
So for really prolific writers. Yeah. Um, and you asked me my advice earlier. And I would say that's a big thing for someone starting out is to do lots of critique partner swaps and beta reading. I regret that I haven't done that in a long time just because I don't have the time to. So I have, a few steady beta readers who are always willing to read my next release. And I absolutely appreciate that because I need that kind of feedback. But it's hard. It's hard when you get caught up in so many things and don't have the time for it. Also, it's sad because I think of so many books that I beta read for people that they just never finished publishing. And
Oh,
I'm like, Oh, but I really like that. I want like a
Mhm.
physical copy. I want other people to read your book. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
keep going. You need to keep going.
Yeah.
Do you find that happens very often, or it sounds like you've got like a steady group that is is well familiar with publishing?
Um, like I pretty much did it this year with my own
Mhm.
books. For some reason, I keep getting slammed by the Zon, and they
Mm.
and then Facebook is slamming all these authors, and the
In what
Zon,
way?
yeah, like Facebook will take their account away,
Mm.
and that happened to me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. I never talk about anything, and a lot of authors are going through that, like DW Hits and Ramon, Angel Ramon. So it's the bots that are getting in there and seeing shit. And then there's on the Zon side, people have lost their whole accounts, all their books. They just close their whatever, close their account,
Yeah.
and they can't get their books
Which
back. They can't get their money back, their royalties or anything.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. That's why like diversifying your income and also your social media, like we talked about, cross posting, find your home base, but also make sure you try to keep up with the others because it can go away at a moment's notice. I had that happen. I had an account on TikTok that was going well and then just immediately banned for life for no reason,
Yeah,
no appeal, no reason, and having to start all over with that. And if that's your only way of reaching readers, that's your only way of selling books, then you're in trouble. So it's important to try to get the wisps of energy and sanity that you have and make them stretch out. Get
yeah.
that web.
And like I've put my books out there. Now I have to buy ISBN numbers
Hmm.
so that the Zon doesn't take anything away. But geez, like what about these people that have like sold 100 books and never going to get paid? It's just, and it's all, I'm sure it's all AI related.
Yeah. It's tricky. It's definitely not without its risk. I think some people think, well, I know some people think you see advertisements of like easy, quick money publishing.
Hmm.
Um, in what universe?
Yeah.
Maybe if you're using AI to generate 25 books a day and you fool enough people into clicking on it, maybe.
Hmm.
But if you're actually enjoying the craft, doing what you love, trying to connect with people through your words, um, it's not easy. It does not make money quick.
When do you think that AI started doing books, that people were using AI to write books?
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely gone on longer than
Mhm.
I realized it was a thing. I mean, wasn't kind of Midjourney the start of everything where people would do AI art using Midjourney? And then I feel like out of nowhere, people are like, "Oh yeah, people are writing books with AI." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? I thought people just did art with AI."
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden that's just a huge thing and people are using ChatGPT and um they can't even buy their groceries without it or
Yeah.
they're so reliant on it. I don't know. I don't know when it started.
I know when I was reviewing COVID, before COVID, this one name kept coming up.
Mhm.
And you could always tell whenever they start slamming them out, you know, one a day sometimes. I'm like, really? They're AI? I'm thinking, I didn't know that AI was that well done. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
been how many years? So,
Yeah. I might be a snob, but I feel like I would know and hate anything written by AI.
mhm.
But someday I might be duped and devastated that I loved something that was written by AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's embarrassing when some authors even leave the AI prompts in there. Like you can tell that they did not care enough to even hire an editor that would have read that or a proofreader. Proofreader. Wow. I need more sleep. Proofreader. Oh, girl, drink more of that caffeine.
Yeah, you and me both.
Um, but I don't know. It's crazy. I'm not giving up. I'm not throwing in the towel. I don't think that they could ever replace us for people who actually care about reading.
Yeah, to come up with the good stories, not just the same
Yeah.
stories from TV or other books.
And it's just gonna I think AI is just going to be, I mean, it's feeding on itself. It's just going to be this cyclical, nasty thing, hopefully they find the right place for it in places like translating in a hospital or
Hmm.
product reviews. But it's just an amalgamation of words that don't reach out to you the same.
Yeah. Don't have the feeling, the heart behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will let you go so you can do all of those million things that you have to do.
I know. I was like, oh, I need to hop on a video, but at least I can put off doing outlining a very complicated process for the app developers that I'm talking to. That's so boring. They should just automatically know all the details that I have spent years learning. Why can't people just automatically know? I don't know.
Exactly. All
Thanks
right.
for inviting me, and I'm glad we finally got to make this work.
Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, golly. So,
And thanks for checking out my books. I need to check out yours. Do you have
nah,
short ones?
nah, nah, no,
I don't have attention span for long ones anymore.
nah.
At least not lately.
Mine under my name are uh the Sabbaths, the Wheel of the Year, about certain holidays and
Mm.
metaphysical books. So no, you don't have to read them.
So wait, are they nonfiction?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
like around Yule will be about the Krampus and the
Hmm.
witches and the Yule goat and the Christmas spider. Just and I don't know what else. Shadow work and
Okay. Well, you failed
astrology.
because you are horrible at marketing because you're just assuming that I wouldn't be interested in reading that.
And nobody is. All my books go across the pond to different countries out there. So, and they've been out
So
for a
you're
while.
saying you do get sales internationally, but not in the US?
Yeah,
Hmm. Hey, I mean, location doesn't matter as much, right? As long as someone's enjoying it.
yeah. Anyways,
All right, we're gonna go for sure. I'm genuinely surprised my cat did not try to murder me
my dogs
or
have been.
interrupt us. Oh my god, because she's a spicy street cat that I adopted, and she can be spicy. Anyway, you have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye bye.